12 curiosities about the North Pole. Today, we are going to travel to one of the most extreme, mysterious, and fascinating places on planet Earth. A place where the sun can remain visible for months at a time, where there is no solid ground beneath your feet, and where the climate influences the entire world, even though it is so far away from most people. We are talking about the North Pole. When we hear this name, many images come to mind: endless ice, extreme cold, polar bears, and an environment that seems almost impossible for human life. But the North Pole is far more complex, scientific, and important than it may appear at first glance. Throughout this video, you will discover 12 impressive facts about the North Pole, learning not only how it works, but also why it is so essential to the balance of our planet. So, get ready for this journey to the top of the world. Curiosity 1. The North Pole is not on solid land. Contrary to what many people imagine, the North Pole is not located on a continent or a large landmass. In reality, it lies in the middle of the Arctic Ocean, on top of a thick layer of floating ice. This means that if someone were standing exactly at the North Pole, they would be literally standing on ice, and beneath that ice there would be only water, reaching depths of more than 4,000 meters. This ice is not fixed. It constantly moves, driven by ocean currents and strong winds. For this reason, there is no permanent base at the North Pole, unlike the South Pole, which is located on the continent of Antarctica. This characteristic makes the North Pole even more unstable and sensitive to climate change, since any rise in temperature directly affects this floating ice layer. Curiosity 2. There is no east or west at the North Pole. At the North Pole, something very curious happens with geographic orientation. Every direction around you points south. This happens because the North Pole is the northernmost point on the planet, so if you take a single step in any direction, you are automatically heading south. For this reason, concepts like east and west simply lose their meaning there. Standard compasses can also malfunction since they rely on Earth's magnetic field, which behaves differently in this region. It's a place where our traditional sense of direction simply stops working. Curiosity 3. The sun does not set for 6 months. One of the most impressive characteristics of the North Pole is a phenomenon known as the midnight sun. During the summer, the sun remains visible in the sky 24 hours a day for approximately 6 months. It does not rise or set. Instead, it slowly circles the horizon. During the winter, the opposite happens. The sun disappears completely, and the North Pole enters a period of total darkness, which also lasts for about 6 months. This extreme alternation between light and darkness has a deep impact on the climate, wildlife, and any human activity in the region. Curiosity 4. The temperatures are extreme. The North Pole is one of the coldest places on Earth. Even during summer, temperatures rarely rise above 0 degrees Celsius. In winter, thermometers frequently register temperatures below -40 degrees Celsius. On top of that, strong winds make the wind chill feel even more severe. These conditions make human survival extremely difficult, requiring specialized equipment, advanced thermal clothing, and very careful planning. Curiosity 5. Polar bears live there, but penguins do not. A very common mistake is to imagine that polar bears and penguins live together. In reality, these animals never meet in the wild. Polar bears live exclusively in the northern hemisphere, in regions close to the Arctic, including areas near the North Pole. Penguins, on the other hand, live only in the southern hemisphere, mainly in Antarctica. This geographic separation has existed for millions of years. Polar bears are excellent swimmers and depend on sea ice to hunt seals, which are their main source of food. Curiosity 6. The North Pole is always moving. Because the North Pole is located on floating ice, it never stays exactly in the same position. In addition, there is the magnetic North Pole, which is different from the geographic North Pole. This magnetic pole moves several kilometers every year. This movement affects navigation systems, GPS, aviation routes, and even satellites, requiring constant updates to Earth's magnetic maps. Curiosity 7. The North Pole belongs to no country. The North Pole officially does not belong to any country. It is considered an international area. However, countries near the Arctic, such as Russia, Canada, the United States, Norway, and Denmark, compete for rights over parts of the Arctic Ocean, mainly because of natural resources like oil and gas. This makes the region geopolitically strategic and increasingly important. Curiosity 8. The Arctic ice is melting rapidly. Global warming has caused a significant reduction in the amount of ice at the North Pole. Over recent decades, the area covered by ice during summer has dramatically decreased. This affects not only the local wildlife, but also the global climate. Ice reflects sunlight. When it melts, the ocean absorbs more heat, which further accelerates global warming. Curiosity 9. People live in regions near the North Pole. Although the North Pole itself has no permanent residents, regions near the Arctic have been home to indigenous peoples for thousands of years. The Inuit, for example, developed remarkable survival techniques for extreme environments, using clothing, shelters, and hunting methods adapted to intense cold. These cultures possess valuable knowledge about the nature and Arctic climate. Curiosity 10. Sound travels differently in extreme cold. At the North Pole, the extremely cold and dense air allows sound to travel farther than it does in warmer regions. This means that noises can be heard over longer distances, creating a strange sense of closeness in a vast and silent environment. This phenomenon has been reported by explorers and scientists who have worked in the region. Curiosity 11. The North Pole influences the global climate. The North Pole acts as a powerful thermal regulator for the planet. Cold air masses formed in the Arctic influence atmospheric currents that affects the climate of North America, Europe, and even South America. Changes in this region can trigger extreme weather events in many parts of the world. Curiosity 12. It is possible to visit the North Pole. Despite its harsh conditions, it is now possible to visit the North Pole through scientific or highly controlled tourist expeditions. These journeys are usually made aboard special icebreakers or by helicopter, with very high costs and strict safety protocols. It's a rare and exclusive experience, accessible to very few people. Conclusion. The North Pole is much more than a cold and distant place. It's a fundamental piece of Earth's climate system and a powerful warning about the environmental changes we are facing. To understand the North Pole is to understand the future of our planet. If you enjoyed this content, share it, leave a comment, and keep exploring the world with curiosity and knowledge. Before we continue, I'd love to hear from you. Which of these facts about the North Pole surprised you the most so far? Let me know in the comments below. I'm really curious to read your thoughts.